Hey guys! Whoa, what's the... Oh, jeez, are we really doing this? Right, well, I'm Comire, this is Start and Select. Pokemon Sun and Moon just came out, so I guess I'm talking about all the unnecessary features in the Pokemon games. I mean, I didn't even look at you. I mean, you know the drill. Pokemon trainers are only allowed to carry up to 6 Pokemon at any one time. You catch any more and they get transported to the PC. I mean, how does the Pokeball know you're carrying 7 Pokemon? I have no idea. It's probably got something to do with midichlorians. To get the Pokemon back, you need to go to one of these computers, and back in the day you were given 2 options. Withdraw and deposit. Although you never seem to log on as such, so how does it know which storage box of Pokemon is yours rather than other trainers? Again, probably midichlorians. Withdraw and deposit. Take a Pokemon out, put a Pokemon in. Perfectly fine, worked a treat. But you know what worked even better? Move! That was the third option they added in Generation 2 that allowed you to swap Pokemon between your current party and the selected box. It also gave way to a glitch where you could clone your Pokemon. But, you know, there was a tiny % chance that it would, you know, kind of mess up your entire game, but I wouldn't worry about that. But it was when Generation 3 came along that Move really came into its own. You see, Game Freak basically looked at their folders and went right-click, view, list, not today, boom, icons. And the PC storage system had finally been nailed. I mean, except for the part where they don't really explain how a Pokemon goes from a living, breathing biological thing to some piece of suspended data held within infinite server space. But, I mean, I can only say midichlorian so many times before this video gets downvoted. So my question is, even though they've gotten it so right since 2002, why is withdraw and deposit still here? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no such thing as a withdraw and deposit purist. No one's doing a Nuzlocke run with the WD only clause. Unless you enjoy the thrill of dropping things and picking them back up again, or you're trying to convince your significant other you've taken out a small business loan, why should there be a reason for me to endure those extra 2 clicks to get to the proper one? I mean, Move isn't even called Move anymore. It's called Organized Boxes now, like it's gone through some sort of celebrity rebranding. Meanwhile, Withdraw and Deposit are still hanging around like David Hasselhoff in a Burger King. And have you ever tried to use Withdraw and Deposit on a touchscreen? It can't be done. It's like trying to copy something from an Apple hard drive onto a Windows PC. I mean, I know most of you probably haven't done that before, but believe me, it's freaking awkward. Right, okay, so where do I start with this one? So once upon a time, Nintendo handhelds had one screen, and then someone looked down and thought, well, you know what this needs? Double glazing. So then Diamond and Pearl and the Nintendo DS had 2 screens, a whole other screen to do whatever they want with. And you know what they did? They stuck a clock on it. A clock. A clock. 50% of the viewing space, and they stuck a clock on it. I mean, if I use 50% of my screen to stick a clock on it, I mean, you know, actually, look at this, look at this. How does it help? How does it help? But it wasn't just that, oh no, it had other essentials like a calculator, or a calendar, or a kitchen timer, or a reverse kitchen timer, and another clock. There was even a drawing app that makes MS Paint look like the joy of painting with Bob Ross. Look it up. I mean, all the apps are dumb. Without exception. I mean, it's so dumb, I didn't even know how to pronounce the word. I mean, it's Pokemon Watch, right? So is that Pokoch or Poketch? Poketch? I have no idea. I mean, they probably say it right in the anime, and even though I tend to put a lot of research into these videos, I tend to draw the line at watching Ash lose for the 300th time, despite being a seasoned Pokemon trainer for the better part of 20 years. Thankfully, Game Freak finally found a use for the bottom screen as an easy gateway to multiplayer interaction, as seen in the C-Gear and player search system. But Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum did sell 25 million copies, so the Poké Watch probably is the only thing to hold the title for being twice as useless as the Apple Watch that probably sold twice as much. Steve Jobs, are you listening? Okay, so let me get this straight. Some old man or busty woman who throughout their entire Pokemon researching career has only managed to keep hold of 3 Pokemon is gonna judge me on my Pokemon collection skills. Ah, hell nah. Again, back in the day, having a certain number of Pokemon in your Pokedex was used as a checkpoint to allow you to progress further in the world. That doesn't happen anymore. So why is there still an option to talk to a guy that we call a professor, but probably hasn't taught anyone anything since showing you how to use the camera in Pokemon Snap? I mean, I haven't got anything against Professor Oak, but if you're gonna send me off on an elaborate quest just so you can have it off with my mum and get oddly aggressive when I try to ride my bike indoors, then the least you could do is give me some better advice than have you tried fishing. Okay, so leveling up and evolving your Pokemon has kind of been a big part of the Pokemon game since right at the very beginning. I mean, even back then they were mixing it up by having trade evolutions and evolutionary stones. But since then, they've gotten out of control. I mean, I could probably just make a top 5 list from just the dumb evolution methods they've tried over the years. Actually. Eevee is a Pokemon that will evolve into an Espion if it levels up during the day, or an Umbreon if it levels up at night. That's fine, but it gets a bit stupid in a game where time doesn't exist, like in Fire Red or Leaf Green, or we're snatching your Pokemon up Gale of Darkness, where if you want the aforementioned evolutions, you've got to get your Eevee to Dirty Wine on a Sun or Moon shard. See? Sun and Moon. I said it. That justifies the tag, right? Moving on. Some Pokemon are said to evolve using the mystical energies of the environment around them, naturally altering their DNA to achieve their true forms. But you know what that means, really? In order to legitimately get the world's weirdest George Foreman grill and that Jewish joke I just refused to make, Game Freak need to include a location with a special magnetic field in every game from now on, forever and always, until we all die. Or else you'll get the case like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where again our poor pal Eevee can't evolve into Leafeon or Glaceon because the makers just plain old forgot to put a Moss Rock or Ice Rock in those games. I mean, Eevee really just is the poster child for bad evolutions. In Pokemon X and Y, it was decreed that in order to evolve it to Sylveon, you need to pet it and feed it until it has at least 2 hearts of affection in Pokemon to me. Now, affection is a different stat from friendship, so once again, Game Freak have created something they'll need to bring back in every main game from here on out. So far, Pokemon to me did return in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and has been succeeded by Pokemon Refresh in Sun and Moon. So, for now anyway, if you have an Eevee and you really want that hot white mess, just rub it enough times and it'll get bigger. Feebas! Now there's a Pokemon that looks like someone threw up on a Magikarp, and then that Magikarp threw up on a stupider, uglier Magikarp. It evolves into Milotic, or Milotic, or Milotic, whatever. It evolves by leveling up with High Beauty. Beauty being a stat made up for Pokemon Contests in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon Contests becoming redundant past Generation 5, meaning the makers were forced to create some arbitrary item called the Prison Scale in order to make Feebas' ugly duckling story actually come to an end. The Ruby and Sapphire remakes allowed Feebas to get its true evolution method back, but unless you can find some random guy in the subway to give it a haircut every now and again, I wouldn't really bother. Inkay Malamar, turn your 3DS upside down. I'm sorry. Not only did it expect me to hang upside down like some kind of junkie trying to find a new high, but Game Freak demand Nintendo include a gyroscope in every built-in handheld they make from now on. I'm done. Back to the main list. So Dunsparce is a second generation Pokemon that is entitled the Land Snake Pokemon, even though I'm pretty sure 99.9% of snakes are on the land anyway. Not only that, it looks like a baby grow you'd put your child in when even you're not sure what gender it is. And Dunsparce used to be my top most unnecessary Pokemon, but oh no, that title got taken in Gen 5 when this guy slid onto the scene. Stonefish, an electric ground type that spends its time hanging out in puddles like an abandoned child's glove. Stonefish looks like that feeling when you wipe too hard and rip a hole in the tissue. Stonefish looks like a chocolate sundae, only if you replace the chocolate with a turd and replace the sundae with another turd. Stonefish is so useless, its Mega Evolution is a single bar of Weetabix. Stonefish is so ugly, it swam into a blobfish enclosure and all the blobfishes swam out. Stonefish is so disappointing, my parents actually forgave me for not trying to become a doctor.
And Stonefish doesn't just look like crap, it actually is. It's got the oddest stat spread known to man. It dishes out damage like a wet piece of cardboard, takes hits like a dry piece of driftwood, and moves at a speed Snorlax would call doable. And his attack's a little to write home about as well. Sure, it learns Fissure at level 61, a one-hit KO move that misses so often it's now the centre forward for England's World Cup squad, but if you're willing to look at a Stonefish for more than 5 levels, then you've got worse things going on in your life that you need to address first. Oh yeah, and just in case you didn't realise, this thing is also disgustingly flat. Wait, what? It ends with a K? So there you go, 5 even more unnecessary Pokemon features. And just in case you're wondering where the even more part comes from, that's because I've not only written 1, but 2 articles before, each with 5 other unnecessary Pokemon features of their own. So, just in case your favourite stupid thing about Pokemon wasn't here, have a read of those. I'll link them in the description below. Or, even better, leave a comment. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bunch of pointless stuff in Pokemon Sun and Moon, so go crazy. But until next time, I've been Comire, this has been Star and Select. Thank you, and good night.
Interactive storytelling. I mean, VR is already the biggest thing to happen to porn since incognito mode.